G'day friends, Andy here. A few years ago I was the sound engineer in a theatre, which gave me the opportunity to take some photos as well. So on a couple of occasions I asked some of the dancers after the show if I could take a photo, and so we set up some shots. And this particular one of Jess I took with a 1 second exposure and the flash fired at the end, rear curtain sync. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, looking at this photo, you can see it was taken for 1 second at f16 to black out that light. You can see that it needed blacking out because that's what the stage looked like minutes beforehand. Very light, in fact. And some of the cast members there. Oh, jeez. Anyway, some of the cast members there. So we're taking a photo of Jess here. Okay, so what we did is we set up a light stand with a grid on the front and the flash fired at the end. So that's where she posed at the start of the 1 second, and I counted down 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, move, flash. Okay, so how do we make this look a little better than it is? Because that doesn't look like a finished product to me. Well, I can see that it's crooked because the bar up there is crooked, so maybe we'll start there. Okay, let's straighten it a little. It looks a bit straighter. And we've got a lot of information here on the sides that we don't want or need. How about we unlock our little companion there? So if I bring him in, and maybe we don't want that bar there. How does that look? Okay, do we want the feet in there? Maybe, maybe not. And do we want the light in the middle of the photo? Because it seems a bit balanced to the right hand side there. So if I do a bit of that and crop it, how does that look? Looks a bit more balanced to me. It still actually looks a little crooked though. So what if I just nudge him a little, like so. That's okay. There is still a fair bit of information down there that I don't want. I'll have a think about that. Maybe I'll crop it a bit higher. Maybe I'll leave it like that. Okay, so what does this photo need? Looking at it, curtain there. Distracts me from her face, so I want the viewer to be looking at her face and maybe highlight some of the dress here. So to do that, it's a little dark, you can see there, so I'll up the exposure a tad. I might even see if there are any white points set. So I'm pressing Alt, as you can see there, and moving the white up. We do have some parts that are blown out blues, red not in the face though, so we have lightened the face there. And do we have any crushed blacks? Because I'd like a good contrast, because I do like a good contrast. We have crushed blacks down in the left there. And how does the face look now? Just waiting for Lightroom to catch up, and that looks pretty good, but if I brought down the highlights, how would that look? And if I see that on a global scale, I do like the look of that. We have a bit more of the face that is standing out. So if I go back to there with the history, and now, yeah, the face is standing out pretty well. Okay, now, the only reason we can see these lights is because there's smoke in the room. For instance, if I go to this shot, it's very prevalent there that you can see the light. And that's only because there's smoke. Now, you can see on this one, I've already used the dehaze. without the dehaze. How does that look? You'll see all the smoke, smoky room. So we don't want a smoky room at all. We just want the lights to seem smoky. So going back to our photo, if we pull up the dehaze a fair amount, because we have a fair amount of haze, how does that look? To me that looks a fair bit better. So before dehaze and after dehaze, and it's made it a little bluer, which I kind of like. Okay, you know, I feel like the crop needs to be a little tighter, so I'll come back in and crop it more. And how does that feel? I know we're cropping a foot there, probably shouldn't do that. Maybe just like so. So we've got the hand there, Light's not quite in the middle, which is good because we've got a more balanced picture. And if I crop it there, that's okay. That's okay. I think I need to bring it out a little. Like so. That's okay. Now, to get a bit of emphasis on the dress there, if we brought the clarity up, I think that might just do it. It's done a few things, but if I do before clarity, after clarity, yeah, it's made the face a little wider too. Maybe I'll bring down the highlights of the face a tad. Okay. There we go. I don't mind that. And now to remove some of this information, the post-crop vignette. So there we go. It's taken out some of the lights. Now I'll do before and after, so I'll hit the backslash key before. Or is that really before? I'm just going to look down the history because there we go. Not sure that before was working well enough. So I'm kind of liking that photo. How does a face look? Because it's mostly about faces and eyes, even when your subject's at a distance like this. So just waiting for Lightroom to catch up there with all of the edits because it takes some time. Okay, maybe we'll just remove our spot here. See if that does a good job. Maybe I could do a better job than that. And yeah, that seems like it's done the trick. A little too well. So if it does a little too well, you can bring the opacity down a little. And that often will do a better job. So, great. From a distance, that will look good enough for me. Of course, with skin and lighting from the side, it's not flattering. If there's any blemishes, it's sure to be shown with that sort of light. And remember where the spotlight was. It's up on the side there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Maybe I'll get rid of what we have down here. A couple of tiny distractions. So I'll make my brush, my spot removal tool a little bigger. And hit a spot there, hit a spot there. And turn this off to make sure they're all looking good. And on those spots, yeah, that'll be fine. So, how do I feel about that? I don't know, to me it just looks a little crooked still. I am going to, I mean, I know there's no background to give it a reference. There's no horizon, but to me, I don't mind that. It looks okay to me. So there you go. Very happy with that one. Thanks everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. And of course, if you ever need a photographer or a photo editor, please send me a message.